Linda Zhu was born in China in 1970. Her father and mother, now both retired, were professionals.
Since I was very young, my father and mother have had high expectations for me. My father wanted me to become a medical doctor. He thought this is a meaningful profession, and one of his brothers and sisters had become doctors. And my mother wanted me to become a teacher. She thought this is a good profession for women because it's very stable, and she was a primary school teacher herself.
Her parents were most supportive of Linda's education.
I was very blessed to be born in a family that values education. When I was very young, my father told me, "We will always support your education until you want to stop." My parents are not wealthy, but they decided to invest in my education, and they believed that education is equally important to boys and girls.
The culture in China under Chairman Mao gave women a status that supported this belief.
In China, women have high status in the society. During my parents' time, Chairman Mao promoted women's status in China. And he said, "Women hold half of the sky." And I have seen women participated in all kinds of work in the society.
Her first vocational choice sent her in a different direction from her parents.
I chose accounting management because there was no other better options. I did accounting, and I worked as bookkeeper afterwards.
A key development at this time in her life led to a dramatic change.
I was worried about my future, and it was a very difficult years in my life. During that time, I became Seventh-day Adventist. After I became Christian, I committed my life and my future into God's hand, and I prayed to God and asked Him to open a way for me, and God opened a way for me right away.
Not at home in China, but abroad.
I had the opportunity to go to Philippines to study in a Christian institute. When I was in school, I wasn't sure what I wanted to study, and I was thinking what I feel comfortable doing. I like management, so I decided to study MBA after my bachelor degree.
With that education, she was ready to accept a new opportunity.
Shortly before my graduation, I was told that AJRA wants to establish an office in Beijing, and they wanted to recruit a Chinese who can speak English, and the office will be based in Beijing.
Linda knew nothing about ADRA and its disaster and relief work around the world, and little about life in rural areas where ADRA's relief is often focused.
I am from a city, and working in rural setting is challenging for me. However, I felt the work is very meaningful, and I feel AJRA's work improve people's life and make a difference in people's life. I feel very rewarding when I see a poor family used to live poorly shaped house move into new warm home that AJRA helped build. I feel my work have changed people's life and improved their living standard, and I feel quite happy to contribute to this helping ministry. After a few years working in AJRA, then I decided I want to do this kind of work for the rest of my life.
Her aunt, Zhu Ai Zhen, also had a marked influence on the direction of Linda's life.
Very early in my life, I have seen her helping ministry. She visits the sick encourages distressed and helps widow. And I was very impressed by what she did, and I want to do something similar like that.
And just like her aunt, who had a great fear about speaking in front of a large congregation, but overcame it, Linda also overcame her fear of speaking in public.
It was so scary for me to speak in front of a large congregation. And I always ask myself, can I do that? Can I speak in front of many people? Can I be used by God? And I doubted. And I prayed. I asked God, Lord, if you want to use me in this capacity, please give me courage, give me wisdom and ability to speak so that I can work for you. And God answered my prayer, and I was able to speak in the church for several times. And the more I spoke, and the more comfortable I felt.
Linda's leadership role in China has been a natural extension of her education, her vocation, and the assurance of the gifts God has given all people, women and men.
God has given everyone spiritual gifts, and His gifts is given to both men and women, and there's no spiritual gift that is only given to men or only for women. So there's no gifts exclusively for men. When Paul mentioned the spiritual gifts in the Bible, he did not say that certain gifts are for men or certain gifts for women. He said that all of us have been given spiritual gifts, which includes men and women.
In 1992, an Adventist church in Beijing ordained Linda as an elder, and she continues to be actively involved in local church work. She regularly shares communion in homes for those that cannot come to church. Until recently, Linda has been the program director of ADRA's Straw Bale Ecological Housing Program in China. In 1998, with her collaborator, architect Kelly Lerner of Spokane, Washington, Linda introduced straw bale construction into 4 provinces of northern China and Inner Mongolia. Linda achieved buy-in from local government officials, trained teams of local builders, managed the procurement of supplies, and maintained quality and fiscal controls. Together, Linda and Kelly have supervised the building of 3 schools and over 600 energy-efficient, earthquake-resistant, culturally appropriate houses using straw and other local building materials. Because of their remarkable successes, they won the Building Social Housing Foundation's 2005 UN World Habitat Award. The extent of the need for cheap, durable, and energy-efficient construction is difficult for Westerners to comprehend. There are 160 million people living in inadequate housing made of mud, rocks, and rubble. The excessive use of highly sulfurous coal for heating poorly insulated structures and for cooking results in severe environmental pollution, which in turn causes major health problems, including a high incidence of lung cancer. Straw bale houses are exceptionally well insulated, requiring far less fuel to keep homes warm in winter when temperatures can dip to a minus 40 degrees centigrade. So, both the environment and health are improved, and the straw bale structures are seismically stable, replacing structures which frequently collapse in minor earthquakes. These houses have proved to be a boon to low-income farmers in some of the coldest provinces of China and Inner Mongolia. These homes, and the many more that will be built following the plans laid out in the demonstration project, will be a lasting memorial to Linda's leadership as ADRA's representative in China. But she hopes to be remembered in a different way.
I wanted to be remembered as a woman who has used her time, talents, and opportunity to glorify God and bless others.